All right, review time. Well, I call these things wedge bars. They're popping up a lot on the internet here, the brand name, of course, there. And these things solve one of the biggest issues for bodyweight training in the home. Because until now, if you've wanted to be able to do pull-ups, you've probably had either doorway pull-up bars, which are very economical, very space efficient, but doorways are not the best place to be doing pull-up bars, especially if you're taller. You have to pick up your knees, which isn't terribly bad, but you can't get quite the full height you want for things like leg raises. Or you have a freestanding unit, and freestanding units are great. They have lots of options, but they're usually much more expensive and they take up a lot more floor space, not ideal for small apartments, which is why I love these things, which you just wedge in between a doorway, or even better, between two walls, like I put these in my hallway and stuff. And that way, you have something that barely takes up any space. You can put it at any height that you want, and it's very economical. So this one in particular, L Kids. I love the name right there. It's kind of a little funky there. A couple of neat features to this. First of all, we've got a nice big wide pad that goes right against the wall, which is handy because, let's be honest, this thing is holding your weight with nothing other than friction, which is a little bit more dicey than something that's drilled straight into the wall. But ideally, friction, if you've got enough of it, you can hang an elephant. That's what these do, is basically you have this Allen wrench, which is even clipped onto it, very handy. And you just crank it down, and these walk out with screws, so you wedge it really tightly against your wall to hold your body weight. And the more surface area you have on the end, like with these, the better. I also like the design how they've got this level right in between, which is very important, because in order to get that strong support right, you need this sucker to be dead level, because if you're off even just a little bit, you're not going to have the strongest secure hold, and it's going to compromise your ability to hang from it safely. So the more level this is, the better. And the way I found the best way to hold this up is to mount and to push one end straight into the wall. And then as you're tightening it down, you're lifting up or adjusting on the other side as you tighten. So that's a lot easier than holding it and just trying to walk both of these into the wall at the same time. You have one on the wall, and then the other one is adjusted, so that way you have a perfectly level, very secure hold. A couple other little impressions here. First and foremost, I like that level right there, but this big thing here in the middle doesn't quite work for me just personally. See, one of the greatest things about a pull-up bar, especially if you practice more progressive calisthenics techniques where you're using a number of grips and holds and stuff, is that it's just a straight bar. I've come to have less of a favor of things that have dedicated grips. For me, the best kind of pull-up bar is a bar, straight bar. No grips, no dedicated handholds, nothing. It's just you can grab it equally and evenly throughout the whole thing. Gives you the most versatility. So things like this in the middle, dedicated grips and stuff, usually has more of, it looks good, and it probably works great for 99% of the people out there. But to me, I just see this as a lot of window dressing that limits your ability to use it in a variety of ways. Second off is, it's an easy fix and stuff, but these plastic caps, nice and soft rubber, gives you a good grip, but it comes off entirely way too easy. Most of the time when I would be pushing this thing against the wall with any sort of paint, these would stay stuck on the wall. And then when I would go and peel it off, it would come off, and you can even see some of the paints coming off with it. Now that very well may be just my personal experience, because the walls are like from the 70s in my apartment, and they're made with this like popcorn kind of paint. It's very textured, it's very, very soft, but ideally this thing would be used in something that doesn't even have any paint at all. I'm thinking something like studs, like exposed wall studs in a basement, or concrete. If you can get this sucker between a couple of concrete pillars, that would be the ultimate position and place to put one of these suckers on. Lastly, just as one of these products in this category of like what I call wedge bars and stuff, a lot of the advertisements and stuff that I see on these things are about how you can have it at different heights for different exercises, like rows, incline push-ups, put it as a foot mount for sit-ups and stuff, which is fantastic. But in my experience with using these, and I've used several other models and stuff, setting these up isn't as quick and easy as I often think it is. It's not too cumbersome. Maybe I'm just lazy about it, but I always find myself more along the lines of set it and forget it. Like I would set it at a height I would use for pull-ups, and I would never move it from there, just because it's easier to just leave it there. If I wanted something to do rows on or something, I would use like a suspension setup that I would have. If I wanted to just push off against something at an angle, I would do it off the back of a couch or a countertop or something of that nature. So yes, you can move these to different heights, but I found it to be too tedious to even bother, and it just became a standard pull-up bar. So there are my thoughts. Want to thank Lasco for sending me this. Let me play around with it and having fun with it. And if you have any thoughts or questions, down below as well. Thanks again for watching. Be fit, live free.